In this video, we will read about the Civil Rights Movement. Hello everyone, thank you for joining this channel. I'm Dr. Hernandez-Smith. This channel is dedicated to English language learners where they can go and find ESL lessons. In this video, we will use Cambridge 1, Ventures 3rd edition, Level 4, Teacher Resources, Citizenship and Civics Worksheets. This is the Cambridge1.org website. Scroll down and look for Ventures 3rd edition. Here it is. Click on it. Look for Ventures 3rd edition Level 4. Click on this. Click on Teacher Resources. Click on Citizenship and Civic Worksheets. You can download these worksheets here. We will use the Civics Worksheets and Teaching Tips. Download. This is Worksheet 83, the Civil Rights Movement. A, read the paragraph, answer the questions. There are 3 paragraphs, and then there are 3 questions. There is a section B. Section B says, read about 2 civil rights leaders. Check the box under the correct leader. There are 6 sentences for section B, and the leaders are Anthony and King. A, read the paragraph, answer the questions. The Civil Rights Movement began because African Americans were segregated or kept apart and treated differently from white Americans. African Americans could not eat or drink at the same places as white Americans. They also could not attend the same schools or ride in the same seats on buses and trains as white Americans. The Civil Rights Movement began in the early 1950s. One major event was when the U.S. Supreme Court stopped segregating the public schools in 1954. Then, in 1955, Rosa Parks, an African American woman, stood up against the racial discrimination, treating people differently because of their race. In December 1955, she got on a bus after a long day at work. When a white man got on the bus, she was told to stand up so that the white man could sit down. She refused to do so and was arrested. In 1964, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act. In 1965, the Voting Act was passed. These acts gave all Americans basic rights no matter what their race or gender. Number 1. Why did the Civil Rights Movement begin? Number 2. Who was Rosa Parks? Number 3. What did the Civil Rights and Voting Acts do? Number 1. Why did the Civil Rights Movement begin? The Civil Rights Movement began because African Americans were segregated or kept apart and treated differently from white Americans. The Civil Rights Movement began because African Americans were segregated and treated differently from white Americans. Number 2, who was Rosa Parks? Rosa Parks stood up against racial discrimination. She was told to stand up so that a white man could sit down on a bus. She refused to and was arrested. Rosa Parks was an African American woman who was arrested for refusing to give up her seat for a white man. Number 3. What did the Civil Rights and Voting Acts do? These acts gave all Americans basic rights no matter what their race or gender. These acts gave all Americans basic rights no matter what their race or gender. Do you have any questions, or would you like to add to the discussion about this topic? Please add your questions and your comments in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and comment to support this channel. Thank you for watching. For more information about ESL online classes, go to our website, www.adultseslonlinelearning.com. I offer ESL online classes. The classes are $30 per class, and the classes are 15 minutes long. Classes meet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting at 9 a.m. and ending at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Classes meet on Zoom. Select a day and time for a consultation. Enter in your name, your email, and schedule event. And share anything that you think will help prepare for our meeting. In our meeting, we'll introduce ourselves, we'll discuss your goals, and design an independent learning plan. Then we'll discuss scheduling your class and payment. B. Read about 2 civil rights leaders. Check the box under the correct leader. 2 Americans who were important civil rights leaders were Susan B. Anthony and Martin Luther King Jr. Susan B. Anthony was a teacher and a women's rights activist. She traveled the country to speak about women's suffrage, or women's right to vote, and the abolition or ending of slavery. She traveled the country. I'm going to highlight this description. Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor and civil rights activist. He worked most of his life to gain civil rights for African Americans. He led many nonviolent protests and marches against racial discrimination. He received the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the civil rights movement in 1964. Today, the American people celebrate the national holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, around his birthday in January. Number 1. I was a teacher and a women's activist. Anthony, teacher and women's rights activist. Number 2, I was a pastor and civil rights activist. Pastor, civil rights activist. King. Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor and civil rights activist. Number 3, I led many nonviolent protests against racial discrimination. He led many nonviolent protests and marches against racial discrimination. King. Number 4, I worked for women's right to vote. Anthony. Number 5, I spoke about the abolition of slavery. Speak about abolition or ending of slavery. Anthony. Number 6, I received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. King. He received the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the civil rights movement in 1964. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please add them in the comments section. I also offer an 8-week ESL program that costs $1,000 for 40 American ESL classes. The classes are 50 minutes per class. Classes are on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They begin at 9 a.m. and end at 6:50 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.